All right, so I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring. I know the news has been out now for, I don't know, a week or so, and the news was that we are not getting a Destiny 3. That, I guess Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg, formerly Kotaku, put out an article, which is not this article. This is a different one from Insider Gaming. But the initial news broke that, Sony is they're not. Destiny put out a thing saying we're not doing any more development updates. We're going to do this Moments of Triumph. It's the final update. They're going to keep the servers on for Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, but no more development. It's done. It's done. And it was also being said in this report from Jason Schreier that there are no Destiny projects that have been greenlit, meaning there's no D3 in development at all. Now, we don't know if they're going to greenlight one later, but right now, all we have to go on is, Marathon's being propped up, Destiny, Marathon's in, Destiny 2's out. Anything Destiny is, who knows? Destiny Rising is handled by a different company, and so who knows if they're going to keep doing that. I think it's separate from Sony and Bungie. Who is it that makes Destiny Rising? Is it NetEase or I think it's NetEase. I don't play mobile games, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I want to just kind of give my 2 cents on this whole situation. I had a short form I just uploaded, like at the time of this recording, like right now. We just did a short, and I was basically saying how Sony's nuts. Like, you guys are crazy, because I don't get how on paper you can look at this scenario and say, okay, yeah, we had a 760 something million impairment loss. Yes, I get that. You had to write off. It was a big problem. You got screwed by Pete Parsons. Pete Parsons pulled off the heist of the century in gaming, like of all of gaming ever. That man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see legal shit happen later on down the road, because this is bad. I mean, and that's not, I'm not saying I know anything. I don't. I'm not trying to say that something will happen. I'm just saying that, when you look at the acquisition and you look at, they wrote off this impairment loss, like 700, they lost their ass on this deal with Bungie. And so, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, I wouldn't be surprised if something did come of it legally, but I don't know anything, obviously. I'm just a guy on YouTube, on Rumble, whatever. And, but the bean counters, the decision makers, those are the ones I'm like, dude, how are you looking at this scenario and saying, okay, we bought Bungie for $3.5 billion, like $3.6 billion or some crazy number, right? And now we're writing off like $700 million of that. That's like what, like 30 something plus % of that purchase price. And they're stopping development on Destiny 2, Dunzo. They're going to keep the servers on, but they're after this, coming update, that's it. It's done. They're going to prop up Marathon. I'm not going to go into a big tangent on Marathon. I will say this. I like Marathon a lot. I really like Marathon. I think it's a fantastic extraction shooter. It's very unique. I love what they're doing with it. I'm actually glad it's going to continue. However, if you ask me to pick one or the other, I'm tossing Marathon in the garbage immediately. And that's not any shade at Marathon. It's just that the prospect of a D3, we should have gotten that. They should have had D3 teed up after the final shape. And everybody says the same thing unanimously across the Destiny player base. It's all the same. Everyone, like, literally, I think Destin Legary said something earlier on Twitter over the last couple of days. It's 100% true. He's like, yo, we have, everyone wants a Destiny 3 except Sony. Everyone knows that that's the right answer except Sony. It does not make sense to me. I don't understand how you can. Okay, Bungie has, the Destiny IP. They have the Marathon IP. Maybe a handful of other smaller projects, right? Gummy Bears, project name, whatever the freak that's going to end up being. And, and then they subleased out Destiny IP to I think it's NetEase that does Destiny Rising. Y'all can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't play mobile games, so whatever. So how can you guys look at, okay, we just wrote off 700 and some odd million for an impairment loss. We need to not only make our money back on our investment, we would like to make a profit, right? So if Bungie has this amount of IP, what statistically has the best chance of giving us that ROI out of what's available? And if we're going to ignore starting up a brand new IP altogether, because okay, that's a different conversation. So let's say that they're smart enough to say that, okay, we shouldn't rely on creating brand new IP as our sole means to get an ROI, right? So what do we have to work with? We have Marathon, Destiny, maybe a couple other small things. Great. Out of all of that, what is the highest pardon me, I just ate. What is the highest statistical chance of an return on investment out of all that's available? Gee, I wonder. A Destiny 3 perhaps? Not Destiny 2, not a Destiny 1 remaster, not any of that shit. A proper Destiny 3. Why? Because you have a 10-year plus established player base that loves to spend money on that IP. Not debatable. That is fact, right? The prospect of a D3 has been clamored for years at this point. So if you did come out with a D3, you have a 10-year veteran player base to absorb it. And because it's new, you would actually attract a bunch of new players. And so I just don't understand how you as investors, as decision makers, can look at that premise and say, no, we're going to prop up Marathon. Brother, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on here. So to Sony and whoever the execs are, hey, Herman Holst, you might want to reevaluate who's making the decisions if it's not yourself, or if you're signing off on these ideas, maybe look in the mirror and say, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Because holy shit, I don't care how much money you lost on the deal and dealing with Pete Parsons and all that shit. I don't care. You guys have a player base that is telling you exactly what they want to spend money on in mass. This petition that they're talking about here in this article has over 200,000 signatures now, or some crazy number. And again, looking at the available IP from the studio, you can't seem to deduce that a Destiny 3 would be your highest likely potential for an ROI. That's what you guys are saying. Guys, stop being fucking stupid and just do what your customer base is asking you to do. They are asking to give you money for a Destiny 3, a lot of it, millions and millions of dollars. You could probably make back that impairment loss within probably 2 to 3 years, maybe less, depending on how good that product is. But the fact that y'all haven't already started development on it is only kicked yourself in the teeth even further. And the longer you wait at this point, the more money you are going to lose on this studio. Because as much as I like Marathon and would love to support Marathon, Marathon is not going to make you the kind of money that Destiny 3 can. And again, the fact that you have people there making decisions to the contrary of that ideal is I would be firing those people. If you're going to lay people off, lay the people off who have said no to green lighting a Destiny 3. You guys are retarded. Give me a break. Seriously. Literally, the only thing that makes sense is it's sheer stupidity, or you guys are just, it's personal. To me, it just makes it more sense that it's personal. Someone at the top is you know what, Pete Parsons screwed us, and it's this stupid Destiny IP and blah, blah, blah. You know what? F the players, F the IP, out of spite because we feel personally wronged. That's what it feels like. It would be different if it made any sense, but it just doesn't. And then if you talk about the argument of well, what about them starting a new IP in general? I mean, you're going to really take your chances on a brand new IP. Like let's ignore Marathon. Marathon's only going to go so far, and that's not going to recoup any ROI. I don't care how crazy they change Marathon. You are not going to compete with what would be a Destiny 3 in terms of how much money it's going to make. You can't do it. And a new IP, the chances of you striking lightning again, or catching lightning in a bottle again, the way you did with Destiny over the span of 10 years on a new IP, if I were an investor, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a safe gamble to me. You look at the timeline of developing a new IP, minimum 4.5 years minimum. If it's on Unreal Engine, you're talking like 5 to 6 plus, for a brand new IP. It's absolutely insane. And I just don't understand the logic and the decision making. So I hope that the internet, with these petitions and everything else that's going on, I hope the internet roars so loud that you fire these idiots who are making the decision not to do a Destiny 3. Because here's the last thing I'll say. If you really, really aren't going to do a Destiny 3, then just shut the whole fucking studio down. Because again, as much as I like Marathon, if it was a choice between Destiny 3 and Marathon, get the fuck out of here with Marathon. Destiny 3 is way more enticing to me personally, and most of the Destiny player base, if not all of them. Again, I'm not throwing shade at Marathon. I think Marathon's great. It's cool. It has its place, but not at the expense of a Destiny 3. You're high. You're absolutely high. Like, you guys need to pull your head out of your ass, and I hope all this petition and everything makes them do just that. The people making the decisions to say don't greenlight a Destiny 3 need to be fired. They don't know what they're talking about. They're totally like unable to read the room. They have no idea what it means to cater to your customer base, and they obviously don't like money. It just none of it checks out. None of it. It's insane. So Sony, Herman Hulst, pull your heads out of your asses. Make Destiny 3. Keep these fucking developers on board to make the Destiny 3. Stop firing a bunch of people because you made a bad bet on Pete Parsons. Stop punishing everybody else and just make the goddamn game. Just make the goddamn game, and you're going to print money. It's that fucking simple.